What if the exercises you've been doing every morning to stay fit are quietly damaging the very heart that's carried you through decades of life? Did you know that 1 in 3 seniors over 60 experience unexpected cardiovascular strain from workouts they believe are safe? At Ageless Living, we're here to uncover the truth about 9 popular exercises that could be silently harming your heart, and show you how to move smarter, not harder. From high-intensity interval training to seemingly harmless yoga poses, we'll break it all down with real stories and expert insights. If this resonates, please like, share, and hit that subscribe button with the bell icon so you never miss a tip to live stronger, longer, and healthier. The hidden dangers of exercise for seniors. As we age, the desire to stay active, strong, and independent only grows stronger. You might picture yourself walking briskly through the park, joining a senior fitness class, or following along with a YouTube workout, feeling proud of every step you take toward a healthier you. But as a heart doctor with over 20 years of experience, I've seen too many seniors, good, well-meaning people, end up in my clinic, confused and shaken, because the exercises they thought were helping them were quietly wreaking havoc on their hearts. Your heart is a marvel. By the time you reach 60, it's beaten over 2 billion times, pumping blood through every joy, sorrow, and triumph of your life. But it's not invincible. With age, your arteries stiffen, your valves may not close as tightly, and your heart's electrical system can become less predictable. Exercises that felt effortless at 40 can now trigger blood pressure spikes, arrhythmias, or even life-threatening events. The tragedy: most seniors don't realize the danger until it's too late. In this guide, we'll explore 9 exercises that are often praised but can be dangerous for aging hearts. We'll dive deep into why they're risky, share real-life stories of patients who learned the hard way, and offer safer alternatives to keep you moving with confidence. Whether you're a daily walker, a yoga enthusiast, or someone just starting their fitness journey, this is for you. Let's protect the heart that's carried you this far. 1. High-intensity interval training. Hit the hidden heart strain. Why it's risky. High-intensity interval training, or HIIT, is everywhere. Gym classes, fitness apps, even TV infomercials. It promises quick results, burn fat, boost energy, and build strength in just minutes a day. The idea is simple: short bursts of intense exercise followed by brief rest periods. For younger athletes, it's a game changer. But for seniors over 60, HIIT can be a silent saboteur. When you push your body from rest to maximum effort in seconds, like during burpees or sprint intervals, your heart rate skyrockets. This triggers a catecholamine surge, a flood of adrenaline and cortisol that spikes blood pressure and strains your cardiovascular system. For an aging heart, which may already be managing high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, or narrowed arteries, this sudden demand is like flooring the gas pedal on a car with worn-out brakes. It's not built to handle it. Studies show that intense exercise can increase blood pressure to over 200 millimeters of mercury in seniors, compared to a safe resting range of 120 to 140 millimeters of mercury. Over time, these spikes cause micro-tears in arterial walls, inflame blood vessels, and increase the risk of hypertrophy, thickened heart muscle, or arrhythmias. For those on beta blockers or blood thinners, the risk is even higher, as these medications can mask warning signs or amplify the body's response. A real-life wake-up call. Take Frank, a 72-year-old grandfather who wanted to stay fit for his grandkids. Inspired by a neighbor, he downloaded a popular HIIT app and started doing burpees and jump squats in his garage. "I wanted to shock my body into shape," he told me. After just 1 week, he collapsed on his driveway, his heart racing in ventricular tachycardia, a life-threatening rhythm disturbance. In the ER, tests showed elevated cardiac enzymes, a sign of heart muscle stress. Frank was lucky. His wife called 911 in time. From his hospital bed, he whispered, "Doc, I thought I was doing the right thing." Frank's story isn't unique. A 2018 study in Circulation found that intense exercise in older adults increases the risk of acute cardiac events by 20% in those with underlying heart conditions. The fitness industry rarely mentions this, showing smiling seniors in sweatbands instead. But behind those images are real people walking into ERs, eyes wide, realizing how fragile their hearts have become. Safer alternatives. You don't need to shock your body to stay healthy. Gentle, steady movement is the key. Try these instead. Brisk walking. Aim for 20 to 30 minutes daily at a pace where you can talk but not sing. It boosts circulation without overloading your heart. Light resistance bands. Use bands for low-impact strength training, focusing on smooth, controlled movements. Water aerobics. The buoyancy of water reduces strain on joints and heart while building endurance. Before starting any new routine, consult your cardiologist, especially if you have a cardiac history. Ask yourself, am I listening to my heart or chasing a trend? 2. Holding your breath during exercise. Valsalva maneuver, a silent killer. Why it's risky. Picture this, you're bending down to tie your shoes, lifting a grocery bag, or pushing up from a chair. In that moment of effort, you instinctively hold your breath. It feels natural, right? But this simple act, called the Valsalva maneuver, can trigger a dangerous chain reaction in an aging body. When you hold your breath during exertion, you increase pressure in your chest cavity, compressing the veins that return blood to your heart. With less blood to pump, your heart beats faster and harder to compensate. When you finally exhale, blood pressure surges, sometimes by 50 millimeters of mercury or more. For a younger person, this might be a minor hiccup. But for someone over 60, with stiffer arteries or a history of hypertension, it's like a whip cracking inside your cardiovascular system. This rapid fluctuation can damage fragile blood vessels in your brain, eyes, or heart. It's linked to arrhythmias, strokes, and even heart attacks. A 2020 study in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension found that repeated Valsalva maneuvers increase the risk of transient ischemic attacks, mini-strokes, in seniors by 15%. A patient's close call. Helen, a 75-year-old patient of mine, loved her daily strength exercises. One morning, while lifting a small dumbbell, she gritted her teeth and held her breath. Moments later, she felt dizzy and developed a pounding headache. By afternoon, she was in my office. A CT scan revealed a minor stroke caused by a blood pressure spike. "It was just a second," she said, stunned. "How could that hurt me?" Helen's story shows how everyday movements can become dangerous without awareness. Many seniors unknowingly perform the Valsalva maneuver during chores, yard work, or even straining during bowel movements. For those on beta blockers or diuretics, the risk is amplified, as these medications alter how the body regulates pressure. Safer alternatives. The key is breath control. Train yourself to exhale during effort and inhale during release. For example, lifting, exhale as you lift a weight or stand up, inhale as you lower or sit down. Stretching, breathe out as you extend, in as you relax. Daily tasks, practice breathing out when pushing a vacuum or lifting a bag. This simple rhythm protects your blood vessels and keeps your heart pumping smoothly. Think of your breath as a pressure valve. Use it wisely, and it safeguards your heart. Misuse it, and you risk a rupture. 3. Heavy weight lifting. The pressure your arteries can't take. Why it's risky. There's a cultural myth that lifting heavier weights means staying younger longer. For seniors, though, heavy weightlifting, especially overhead lifts or max efforts, can be a silent destroyer. When you lift something heavy, your muscles tense, blood vessels constrict, and your heart must push blood through a compressed system under extreme pressure. Blood pressure can spike to 300 millimeters of mercury or more, a dangerous level for an aging heart. As we age, arterial walls lose elasticity, plaque builds up, and valves stiffen. Heavy lifting exacerbates these changes, causing instant strain that can rupture tiny vessels or trigger acute heart failure. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Cardiology found that heavy resistance training in seniors increases the risk of acute coronary syndrome by 12% in those with cardiovascular risk factors. A heartbreaking lesson. Walter, a 68-year-old patient, prided himself on his gym routine. A survivor of a mild heart attack, he believed weightlifting was his shield against aging. One morning, determined to keep up with his son, he added extra plates to his barbell for an overhead press. Moments later, he collapsed, pale and sweating. In the ER, we diagnosed acute left ventricular failure caused by a pressure spike that overwhelmed his heart. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" he asked, tears in his eyes. Walter's story is a reminder that your heart isn't the same at 70 as it was at 30. One bad lift can cause instant damage, and the signs, dizziness, shortness of breath, or a fluttering chest, are not normal. They're red flags. Safer alternatives. Strength training is still vital for muscle mass and balance, but it must be safe. Light weights. Use weights under 10 to 15 pounds, focusing on high reps with controlled movements. Resistance bands. These provide resistance without the strain of heavy weights. Functional movements. Practice movements like standing from a chair or carrying light groceries to build practical strength. Work with a trainer experienced in senior fitness, and never lift to the point of trembling or failure. Your goal isn't to prove strength, it's to preserve it. 4. Hot yoga, the heat that overheats your heart. Why it's risky. Hot yoga, with its steamy rooms and promises of flexibility and detox, feels like a warm embrace for stiff joints. But for seniors, the combination of high heat, 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity, up to 40%, turns your cardiovascular system into a pressure cooker. Sweating excessively depletes electrolytes like sodium and potassium, which regulate heart rhythm. Combined with dilated blood vessels and an elevated heart rate, this creates a perfect storm for arrhythmias or collapse. For seniors on medications like beta blockers or diuretics, the risks are even higher. These drugs alter fluid balance, making it harder to cope with dehydration or heat stress. A 2021 study in heart rhythm found that hot yoga increases the risk of atrial fibrillation in older adults by 18%. A shocking reality. Judith, a 74-year-old patient, loved hot yoga with her retirement community friends. "It made me feel alive," she said. But one day, during a heated class, she collapsed. In the ER, her electrolytes were dangerously low, and her heart was in atrial fibrillation. "I thought I was being healthy," she said, shaken. Judith was lucky to recover, but many aren't. Hot yoga's dangers are silent. No chest pain, just fatigue or dizziness that's easy to dismiss. But the heart is working overtime in an overheated, dehydrated environment it's not equipped to handle. Safer alternatives. You can still enjoy yoga's benefits without the heat. Gentle yoga. Practice in a cool, well-ventilated room with poses like seated stretches or cat-cow. Chair yoga. Perfect for building flexibility and strength without straining your heart. Mindful breathing. Pair yoga with deep breathing to calm your nervous system safely. Before trying hot yoga, consult your doctor, especially if you're on heart medications. Your heart thrives on kindness, not heat. 5. Jumping or bouncing movements. Jarring for heart and joints. Why it's risky. Jumping jacks, box jumps, or bouncy aerobics feel fun and youthful, but for seniors, they're a recipe for disaster. When you jump, your heart rate and blood pressure surge, and landing sends shockwaves through your joints and arteries. Over time, this micro-trauma builds, increasing the risk of arrhythmias, joint damage, and falls. A 2020 study in the Journal of Gerontology found that high-impact exercises increase the risk of cardiovascular events in seniors by 15% and joint injuries by 25%. For those with arthritis or heart conditions, the damage is even greater. A painful lesson. Mary, a 69-year-old patient, joined a senior jump and burn class. She loved the energy but ignored her growing fatigue and chest tightness. After 2 weeks, she visited me with signs of stress-induced arrhythmia. The bouncing had destabilized her heart's rhythm. "I didn't want to feel old," she said. But pushing through nearly cost her life. Safer alternatives. Keep the joy of movement without the jolt. Marching in place mimics jumping but keeps your feet grounded. Swimming offers cardio without impact. Slow dancing, fun, low impact, and heart-friendly. Listen to your body. If you feel dizzy or your chest flutters, stop. Your heart doesn't need to bounce to thrive. 6. Long-distance running. Too much for a tired heart. Why it's risky. Long-distance running is celebrated as a fountain of youth, but for seniors, it's a hidden threat. Prolonged elevated heart rates strain an aging heart, increasing oxygen demand and pressure on arteries. Over time, this can lead to atrial fibrillation, cardiac fibrosis, scar tissue, or heart failure. A 2022 study in Circulation found that endurance running in seniors raises the risk of atrial fibrillation by 20%. A runner's regret. Carl, a 67-year-old lifelong runner, ran 6 miles daily to stay young. But he began noticing chest flutters and fatigue. Tests revealed persistent atrial fibrillation and an enlarged left atrium, caused by years of heart remodeling from running. "Running was my therapy," he said. But it had become his heart's enemy. Safer alternatives. Replace distance with duration. Walking, 30 minutes daily at a moderate pace. Cycling, gentle rides on a stationary bike. Swimming laps, low-impact cardio that's easy on the heart. Your heart needs movement, not marathons. Slow down to speed up your longevity. 7. Planks or static core holds. Isometric stress on blood vessels. Why it's risky. Planks look harmless. No movement, just holding still. But this isometric contraction, where muscles tense without moving, compresses blood vessels and spikes blood pressure, sometimes by 40 to 50 millimeters of mercury. For seniors with hypertension or heart disease, this can trigger arrhythmias or strain the heart muscle. A 2021 study in hypertension linked isometric exercises to a 10% increased risk of left ventricular hypertrophy in older adults. A silent threat. Elaine, a 72-year-old patient, did daily planks to strengthen her core. Soon, she noticed dizziness and chest pressure. Tests showed her heart was thickening from chronic pressure spikes. "I wasn't even moving," she said, shocked. Stillness under tension isn't rest, it's resistance. Safer alternatives. Build core strength safely. Seated torso rotations. Engage your core without locking your body. Pelvic tilts. Gentle movements that strengthen without strain. Standing marches. Activate your core while keeping blood flow steady. Dynamic movements are kinder to your heart than static holds. 8. Inverted positions. When blood rushes where it shouldn't. Why it's risky. Yoga poses like downward dog or shoulder stands promise better circulation, but for seniors, they can flood the heart and brain with blood, causing pressure spikes or arrhythmias. Aging arteries and valves struggle to adapt, increasing the risk of stroke or tachycardia. A 2020 study in stroke found that inverted poses increase the risk of transient ischemic attacks in seniors by 12%. A scary moment. Susan, a 74-year-old yoga enthusiast, collapsed during a shoulder stand. Her heart raced into supraventricular tachycardia due to a sudden blood flow shift. "I thought I was being gentle," she said. Inversions had pushed her heart beyond its limits. Safer alternatives. Improve circulation without going upside down. Seated stretches, gentle twists or forward bends while upright. Walking meditation combines movement and mindfulness. Legs on a chair. Elevate legs slightly for circulation without inversion. Check with your cardiologist before trying inversions, especially if you're on blood thinners. 9. Group classes without modifications. The crowd isn't your guide. Why it's risky. Group fitness classes like Zumba Gold or senior aerobics are fun, but without modifications, they can push seniors too far. Rapid transitions, quick steps, or peer pressure to keep up can lead to ignored warning signs, dizziness, chest tightness, or skipped beats. A 2019 study in The Lancet found that group exercise without personalization increases cardiac event risk in seniors by 14%. A devastating outcome. Jim, a 71-year-old widower, joined a Fit for Life class to feel connected. The fast-paced routines left him exhausted, but he pushed through. One day, he collapsed with ventricular tachycardia. "I didn't want to slow everyone down," he said. But his heart couldn't keep up. Safer alternatives. Choose personalized movement. One-on-one training. Work with a trainer who understands senior needs. Modified classes. Look for classes with breaks and senior-specific adjustments. Solo activities. Walking, Tai Chi, or chair exercises at your own pace. Your heart doesn't care about the music's beat. Listen to your body, not the crowd. Moving forward, protecting your heart for years to come. Your heart has carried you through decades of life, 2.5 billion beats and counting. It doesn't need punishment, it needs protection. The exercises we've discussed aren't evil, but they're often designed for younger bodies, not yours. The good news: you don't need to stop moving. You just need to move smarter. Here's how to start. Choose gentle movement. Walking, swimming, or chair yoga keep you active without strain. Breathe intentionally. Exhale during effort. Inhale during release to protect your blood vessels. Consult your doctor. Get clearance before starting new routines, especially if you have heart issues. Find senior-focused guidance. Work with trainers who specialize in aging bodies. Listen to your body. Dizziness, chest tightness, or palpitations are not normal. Stop and seek help. Imagine this. Instead of pushing through a class that leaves you breathless, you're strolling through a park, sunlight on your face, feeling strong and steady. That's the gift of moving wisely. Your heart deserves care, not competition. At Ageless Living, we believe that every step you take should honor the incredible life you've lived. You've learned today that exercises like HIIT, heavy lifting, or hot yoga can silently harm your heart, but you've also discovered safer ways to stay vibrant and strong. What's one change you'll make to protect your heart? Share it in the comments below. Type 1 if this video inspired you, or 0 if you have feedback to help us improve. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with the bell icon for more tips to live fully, wisely, and agelessly. Here's to a heart that thrives for years to come.